Winter break is over and the students are back on campus at the University of Lynchburg. And we're hoping they're going to be out here today to see a very important late season ODAC matchup between the visiting Averett Cougars and the home Lynchburg Hornets. Andrew Watson alongside Evan Gates. And Evan, this is a very important game. Obviously, Lynchburg sits in that 8th spot in the conference right now, 2 games clear of that cutoff line at 10th, but Averett sits on that cutoff line tied at 2-9 in the conference at 10th in the conference. So, Evan, what do you think are some keys or some gateways to success today for these teams to find a win and try and find themselves in the tournament?
Absolutely, Andy. Let's take a look at the keys. Evan's gateway to success. For Lynchburg, it's going to be shooting the 3 well. They have the top 3 players in the conference for 3-point percentage this season, and also getting to the free throw line. It's a very important part of the game, especially slowing down this Averett team, being able to get points, the easy ones, from the line. For Averett, it's about defending the perimeter. As I said, Lynchburg, an extremely good 3-point shooting team this season, and taking care of the ball. They're in the lower half of the conference for turnovers, and it's going to be very important about slowing down and controlling the pace of this game.
Yeah, Lynchburg's definitely going to have to do a good job of trying to force those turnovers for Averett. But then if you look at the team comparisons here, I mean, points per game around the same, points per game allowed around the same as well. The big difference, however, for Lynchburg is they shoot the 3 ball just a little bit better, around 10% better there. They are the 2nd team in the conference in that percentage. And then offensive rebounds per game, Averett sits at 18.7. That marks for the 6th best mark in the country, not just in the conference. So Lynchburg's going to need to do a good job of defending that. And what stands out to you in the team comparison today?
For sure. Well, it starts with confidence in shooting the ball. It's going to be very important that Lynchburg gets off to a good start. But also consider the turnover difference. Averett averaging 26 turnovers a game, as I said, lower in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. But you also want to think the last 2 games averaging just 14. So it's what side of Averett's basketball club comes out tonight.
Yeah, Averett picked up a win their last time out against Eastern Mennonite, and they're going to try and do the same thing here in Turner Gymnasium. When we come back, we'll have starting lineups and tip-off here on LHSN.
I'm Warner Baxter, and I'm a CEO against cancer.
And I'm Lon Kruger, and I'm a coach versus cancer.
I'm Danielle Musselman, co-chair of the Coaches vs. Cancer Wives and Friends team.
Cancer screening is safe, effective, and should be a regular part of your life.
Talk to a doctor about what screening tests are right for you.
The American Cancer Society has important screening resources you can reference at cancer.org.
At cancer.org.
Cancer.org/getscreened.
Regular cancer screening can save your life.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium, where we're set to start and starting lineups are being called out, so we'll check those out here. First off, for the visiting Averett Cougars, it's going to be Elisa Harris, who had 11 points her last time out in a win against Eastern Mennonite. Then number 4, Talia Prosper. She had 10 points her last time out. Janez Hutchinson, she's 5th in the conference in rebounding per game. And then Olivia Garner and Taylor Ray round out that starting 5 for the Cougars. And then for Lynchburg, Olivia Harris, Macy Mullins, Maddie Nimmo, Bree Spainhour, and Darcy Ross. Lynchburg sticking with the same lineup they had last time out. And Evan, we talked about the keys to the game earlier, but who on that list of starters really stands out for you on both sides?
Well, for Averett, it's very impressive to see the performances that both Elisa Harris and Talia Prosper have put up this season. You also want to consider Lynchburg's three-point shooting. Macy Mullins has been absolutely on fire this season, 2nd in the ODAC from three-point range. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams shape up in the first few minutes.
Yeah, and you talk about that three-point shooting percentage. Mullins 2nd in the conference, but she's 2nd to one of her own teammates, Ashley Vandergrift, and then 3rd in the conference, Kayla Terry. All of those in three-point shooting percentages. So for a team that shoots the ball from behind the arc, it's such a good clip, 2nd in the conference. It's going to be tough for Averett to figure out how to guard on the perimeter, and if they can do that, there's not much size advantage for either team in this game, so it'll kind of be a battle of styles in the early going.
For sure. And both teams with a lot of depth as well, so using the bench will be very interesting to see how the coaches line up. Now, you also want to look Lynchburg being able to hold the ball and protect it throughout the game. We see that Averett also commits a lot of turnovers, so as these first few minutes unwind, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And for Averett, they've had a couple games this year where they haven't had many players. A couple injuries have plagued them just a touch, but they seem to be back in full health here tonight. And for the Hornets, they're looking to cement themselves into that top 10. And maybe if they can go on a little bit of run, sneak their way into that single bye and find their way in the top 6 in the ODAC. And we'll get going here as Maddie Nimmo ends up with the ball. She'll go right to the basket and lay it in, an early 2-0 lead for the Hornets. Harris for the Cougars had 11 her last time out. They played at home against Eastern Mennonite and picked up the win. Picks up her dribble on the far side, trying to find someone. She'll get the ball there to Garner, and now back to Harris. Nimmo guarding closely, takes a screen. Harris drives baseline, tries to kick it far side to Prosper. Prosper 5 to shoot, tries to back down Harris, gets inside to the paint. The right-handed floater off the backboard and in. And right there you see already Averett setting it up in that full court pressure. Quick kick to Spainhour. Now Ross inside, doesn't look to shoot, so kick it out to Mullins for 3. Got it.
And if you're Lynchburg, trying to break that press early in this game, you're going to get a lot of three-point looks if you're successful down the court.
Yeah, exactly. And last time out for Averett, they had a little bit of trouble. They kind of sped themselves up playing in that full court pressure. It was tough for them. So we'll see a foul called in the early going here on Olivia Harris. It'll put Talia Prosper to the line to shoot 2. Prosper, a 54% free throw shooter. First one up and good. For Averett, if they're going to find a win today, they're going to have to get to the line quite often, I think.
And using the rebounding as well.
Yeah, exactly. 6th in the country in offensive rebounds. And a welcome sight. 2 made free throws to start out the game for Prosper. Someone who shoots 54%. You don't expect to see 2 go in all the time, and for her, that's definitely a welcome sight.
For Averett, it will be important as this game goes on to keep the percentage high.
Yeah, and already there you see a foul on Averett. believe that one was called against Taylor Ray. Nimmo was close to stepping on that boundary line, but did a good job to stay in and draw that foul. A little bit of a shot clock issue in the early going. They want it reset to 30.
And we see Averett's pressure early on, obviously with the press. They want to rush Lynchburg into taking quick shots, so if Coach Nichols can get her squad just to slow things down, it will be a nice start for these Hornets.
Yeah, but a positive thing for the Hornets is that they do have Maddie Nimmo, who's one of the quickest players in the conference, I would say.
Absolutely.
And you already saw it twice. She's broken down this press. As Mullins will take another three. That one back iron no good, but who's there other than Maddie Nimmo? We'll see a foul on the floor there. I believe it'll be on Maddie Nimmo. Good hustle there for him, however. Averett's going to come away with the ball, and 2 early fouls on the Hornets, and definitely a good thing for Averett. If they can get to the foul line, kind of get 5 fouls in the first quarter and just get a couple of early opportunities without that clock running, is definitely going to be helpful for them.
And as we've already mentioned, it will come down to the free throw line for Averett. Can they connect, and can they make the easy ones?
Here's Ray, now Prosper. She'll take a screen and be guarded. And she'll find Hutchinson now inside. They'll say that Garner traveled. Olivia Gardner had position down there in the paint. Just unable to keep her feet there trying to put the ball up. Good defensive possession, however, for Lynchburg. Harris, far side wing, will find Nimmo standing on that far side of that Lynchburg logo. Now Mullins, now Spainhour. Harris off a screen, she'll take a three. Spainhour almost got the rebound. Instead, it's Averett going the other way. Harris, a quick pass inside to Prosper. The left-handed layup up, no good. Rebound, Darcy Ross.
Out in transition. Can they get an easy bucket?
Harris drives, throws up an acrobatic layup, no good. Ross gets yet another rebound, and she'll get fouled on that attempt, and she'll head to the line to shoot 2.
Looking to speed things up as well. By keeping everyone outside on the three-point line, you have to be able to find in the paint too.
Yeah, and Darcy Ross, not many attempts from the free throw line this year. She was 1 for 6 coming into this game. And she'll connect on that second free throw to bring that lead to 2 points. Harris pushing the other way to Prosper, now Ray. She'll take a three from the corner and knock it down. You can't lose these Averett defenders on the perimeters. While they only shoot around 23% from behind the arc, they're still here and playing and taking those shots for a reason. Ross now on the baseline, backing down her defender. She'll kick it out to Mullins, now Nimmo. And Nimmo traveled on that pump fake there.
Coach Driver liking the energy early on, and especially if you're Averett, with maybe a bit of a shooting disadvantage, you want to use hustle and get the easy buckets.
Yeah, and Averett in the early going, you said they're using that hustle, but they're also just playing really good, solid defense, kind of forcing Lynchburg into some shots on the perimeter. Obviously, Lynchburg wants to take a lot from behind the arc, but if they can guard those and Lynchburg's not going to knock them down, they're eventually going to have to go inside, and it'll be tough to see if Lynchburg can adjust in the early going or if they'll just start knocking down those shots.
For sure.
Here's Harris, realizes 10 to shoot. She'll try and drive on Nimmo. Pick up her dribble, find Ray. Ray at the free throw line will take a screen and pull up from the mid-range. Back iron, no good. High rebound, tipped around, ends up in the hands of Olivia Harris, who will push the other way for the Hornets. Ross, now Mullins, a quick three. She knocks it down. Her second three of the game, her 6th point of the game. And they're off to a hot start from behind the arc once again.
You have to think Mullins always having that green light from behind the three-point line. Brilliant motion from the Hornets.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for someone who's second in the conference shooting from there, it's definitely a welcome sight to see him going in. Here's Ray. She'll take a three. It was an offensive rebound there for Janez Hutchinson. She'll head to the line. She was fouled.
As we said, 6th in the nation in offensive rebounding. You have to box out early on, set the tone.
Darcy Ross, who picked up that foul, will check out. We'll see Kayla Sledge check in, along with Taylor Gant. And for the Cougars, Skylar Jones checking in. First three free throws, from Hutchinson up and no good. She does connect on the second free throw, however, and they're able to set up in that full court pressure.
And if you're Averett, you want to get the trap early on the press.
And they do get it there, but they're able to find Gant, who's going to push the other way. She'll find Sledge, who gets it across the timeline.
And that's back court.
Yep, just a little bit of a mental mistake there from the Hornets. Kayla Sledge seeing her first couple seconds of the game there.
Brilliant
pounded by a
positioning.
turnover. And that was tough because she was right on that midcourt line. She got stuck in a trap. It was almost as if she caught it in motion, staying just short of that line, but obviously stepped over it. And another good defensive showing there from the Cougars.
For sure, and if you're the Hornets in a situation like that, you have to keep moving, keep this defense on its toes.
Yep. Here's Ray on the near side wing now. Harris, she pump fakes a three. She'll back out. Harris for Lynchburg hit the floor. Instead, they'll get it to Jones, and she'll travel. So Skylar Jones' first touch for the Cougars today ends up in a turnover. But she has been a very good player for the Cougars this year, a freshman out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Averaging just under 15 minutes a game. There are 12 players on this Averett roster, averaging 12 or more minutes. It just shows the depth of Coach Driver's squad.
And Mullins not able to connect on the three, but you saw Averett setting up in that about a 2-3 zone there. Had Harris on the far side. Kayla Sledge unable to find her, but obviously a welcome sight to see those shots being open, and obviously if they don't fall, I mean, if you're going to take an open three, you might as well. Mullins now Gant in transition. The right-handed layup is good. The Hornets doing a good job of getting out in transition in the early going and kind of breaking down that pressure. Even if it wasn't the full court press there that Averett set up, as we'll see a foul called on Taylor Gant. Lisa Harris will head to the line.
Averett having their way getting to the free throw line early on.
And with that foul, it'll bring us to our first media timeout. 11-8 is our score. The Hornets lead. We'll be right back on LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium, and it's been a barrage of three-pointers for both of these sides in the early going. Mullins has 2 3-pointers and 6 points, and Ray on the other side for Averett has a three-pointer as well. Harris at the line shooting 2. She'll knock down the first, but how important do you think it is for a team that doesn't shoot the three ball well in terms of Averett, shooting around 23%? How important is it to knock down some threes in the early going?
Well, it's very important, and it's also important to make sure that you keep getting to the line, just finding new options. But looking in transition, you really want to get those open looks and take advantage when you get them, because Lynchburg not giving them very often.
Yeah, and we'll see a couple changes here for the Hornets. I believe Brooke Kaysen checking in along with Casey Kelly. Here is Kaysen. Now Harris at the top of the key. Pump fakes a 3, step backs and takes it. Side iron, no good. Rebound tipped around. Somehow ends up in the hands of Kelly. Throws up a right-handed shot. It was blocked, however, by Garner.
And it's always a bit tough for Lynchburg's offense, because having 4 out on the three-point line, you have to try and at least crash the boards on offense, but also getting back.
Yeah, and a good defensive possession there from the Hornets. A steal from Kayla Sledge.
Looking to move quickly.
Yep, here's Gann at the top of the key, guarded by Evans. Now Kelly, now Kaysen. Sledge has the advantage inside. A great feed from Kaysen. She wasn't able to handle it. She'll pick up her dribble and far pass there to Harris at the top of the key. She'll drive and throw up an acrobatic shot, no good. Rebound taken by both teams, and possession arrow favors the Cougars. We'll see quite a few more changes here for Lynchburg. Kayla Terry checking in for the first time. Maddie Nimmo coming back in as well. And Bree Spainhour checking back in.
We've touched on Coach Nichols' squad, just the depth and the youth of this team, but you also see a lot of guards in this lineup, meaning you really want to run the floor.
Yeah, and Jones with a great drive there, breaking down that pressure from the Hornets. As Maddie Nimmo pushes, finds Spainhour in transition. The layup is up and good. And a great response after a little bit of a run from the Cougars to retake that lead. And they're up 13-12. Here's Evans at the top of the key. She'll take a screen and drive. The Euro step, and the layup is blocked by Bree Spainhour in a great spot. And we'll see a foul called here on the Cougars. That'll be just the third called on them in this first quarter. On the court right now for Averett. Rayana Evans. Nycarasia Coleman. Skylar Jones. Olivia Garner. And Brianna Sams. This mid-range jumper there, no good from Terry. Spainhour's on the rebound. Terry, now Nimmo, a wide open three from the top of the key, and she'll knock it down. Another three falls for the Hornets in the early going. That's quite a few, I believe 3 already, so that's 9 of their 16 points. Here's Evans. Trying to find something. Not much off-ball movement here from the Cougars. We will see a screen set by Sams, and Evans will wave it away. Evans been holding the ball for 10 seconds, picks up her dribble. Good defense by Maddie Nimmo. They'll find Jones, who will try and drive, trying to recreate the shot from earlier. That one no good. Rebound, Brooke Kaysen.
Averett really wanting to get in the painted area of this game, and so not only guarding the perimeter, but really making sure that we stay out of foul trouble early on, because Lynchburg having a size disadvantage, Averett's really wanting to go and use their size early on.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that foul there called on Olivia Garner for the Cougars. So that puts both teams at 4. The next foul on either side will put the opposite team on the line in the bonus. Here's Nimmo inside to Spainhour, backing down the bigger defender, and she'll knock down that layup. A great response from the Hornets after trailing by 12 to 11. They now retake the lead. It's 18-12, and we'll see a timeout on the floor, but we're going to stay here and we're going to check out these head coaches on either side. First off, obviously everyone knows, second-year head coach for the University of Lynchburg, Allison Nichols. Last year they went 16-11. They got to the ODAC semifinal, so she knows how to get her team ready for the ODAC tournament. And for a team that's just on the cusp of kind of earning that single bye or either having to play in the 7 through 10 games, similar to what you see in the NBA, you would have to assume that Lynchburg is going to be in a good position.
For sure. And for Averett, it's head coach Desiree Driver. It's her second season with the Cougars. Last season in November, it was the first matchup between these two coaches with their respective schools, and progress and youth on both sides. Coach Driver, a 4-year starter at NC Wesleyan, native of Minneapolis, before coming to coach at Averett.
Yeah, both these coaches in their young career at their respective schools, obviously great players and great coaches, and Desiree Driver kind of learning how to bring this team up as Prosper was fouled there on that drive. Prosper already has 4 points, looking to add to that. First free throw, no good.
And with the younger team, it's not only finding who you want in the squad, but it's using those pieces, being able to use the best set.
Second free throw from Prosper, no good. Ball tipped around on the rebound, and somehow everyone ends up on the floor trying to get it. Looks like Prosper had it for a second. Bree Spainhour was there for the Hornets, and it'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Lynchburg. And you talked about that youth on both of these teams. Lynchburg has 11 freshmen, and you think, well, there's no way someone can be close to that. Obviously, that's such a big recruiting class. Averett has 9. So a lot of youth, a lot of kind of development seen in these two teams, and I think in the next couple of years you'll see both of these squads be competitive for a conference championship if they keep that same level of development that we've seen thus far.
Absolutely, and Averett obviously a local opponent, but now being in the ODAC for its first season, we will see them quite a bit against Lynchburg.
And Brooke Kaysen there with her first 3 of the night extends that lead to 9 points for the Hornets, and the Cougars in a little bit of a weird territory in the early going. Here's Prosper. Inside to Garner. Garner backing down her defender. The left-handed layup up and no good, but she was fouled there by Brooke Kaysen. That'll send Garner to the line to shoot 2. Thus far, 5 of Averett's 12 points have come from the free throw line. So they've done a really good job of getting to the line and knocking down those shots. But it is tough to beat a Hornet team if they're going to shoot the ball that well from behind the arc.
And you really want to get more steals if you're Averett, averaging just over 10 a game so far. None to start, but you have to think with the pressure that Coach Driver wants some more out of the team.
Olivia Garner connects on 1 of 2, and the ball's tipped out of bounds. Favor to Lynchburg, I believe. A little bit of confusion. Coach Driver for the Cougars calls out a defensive set, trying to maybe pick up some momentum before we head to that first quarter break. Mullins receives the ball inbounds, finds Nimmo. We know she can break down the pressure. She'll try to do it. And she was fouled. Tough foul there from Talia Prosper.
That's the second time this game we've seen Nimmo try to go down the baseline. And very important if you're Averett getting there early. As we saw a backcourt violation early, it's just about pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And Nimmo there was the recipient of that 5th foul, so she'll head to the line to shoot 2. %70 free throw shooter. Unable to connect on the first, but at 70%, you have to assume that you're going to miss some. Nobody shoots 100% from the line. The second one up and no good as well. 1 minute remaining here in the first quarter. It's an 8-point lead for the Hornets. Averett trying to catch a little bit of momentum as Harris drives. The right-handed floater is no good. I believe Ross comes down with the rebound, and Mullins pushes the other way for the Hornets. Mullins' pass tried to find Casey Kelly, was just over the hands of Kelly, and it'll be a turnover. So Averett got a shot they wanted there, and then obviously went down and forced a turnover, so another opportunity to cut into this 8-point lead. Harris has done a lot of ball handling in the early going. She'll try and get it out of her hands there. She'll find Ray with 18 to shoot. Hutchinson now Ray. She'll shoot another 3. She'll knock down her second of the game and cut that lead to just 5 points. 22 seconds remaining. You have to assume Lynchburg's going to hold for the final shot in this quarter. Nimmo to Kelly, now inside to Spainhour. She'll throw up the layup, and I will be corrected. Spainhour already has 6 points. Harris now with the ball, 4 to shoot. She'll drive, and there's going to be an offensive foul called. Olivia Garner charged with that foul, her second. So already in some foul trouble in the early going. Nimmo catches it with 3 to shoot. From half court, no good. So Lynchburg up 23-16. Positive signs in the early going. The 3 ball is falling for both teams, but Lynchburg has the advantage. We'll be right back with the second quarter on LHSN.
You have a great look. Let me just tell you that. I know you don't know me, Thanks, man.
Just once more, and you came and you took control. You touched my very soul. You always show me that loving you is where it's at. You made me so.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium, and we'll take a look at a couple campus updates for the University of Lynchburg. On Wednesday, February 15th, is the FAFSA filing night from 6 to 8. Students can receive hands-on help filing their financial aid packages. And then on Saturday, February 18th, Lynchburg is hosting their Transfer and Local Student Day. Then there will be an open house for admitted students, aka Hornet Celebration Day, a great day I might add, on Saturday, March 4th. Registration for all of these events can be found online at lynchburg.edu. So Lynchburg in the early going, up 23-16. Ray will have another open opportunity to cut into that lead, and she'll knock down her third three of the game, her 9th point. Lynchburg out in transition. Ross not able to corral that pass from Macy Mullins, and maybe a good start to this second quarter for the Cougars, who looked a little down in the first quarter, not necessarily getting the shots they wanted. Lynchburg did a really good job of forcing them to take some really tough shots, and maybe knocking down that three opens up something for this Averett team.
And as we've talked about coming out of the break, not only do you want to speed Lynchburg up, but you want to get quality looks on the offensive side of the ball. Little tie-up.
Yep, possession error there on that tie-up will favor Lynchburg. On the floor right now for the Hornets, it's Harris, Nimmo, Mullins, Spainhour, and Ross, the starters for Lynchburg. And for the Cougars, it's Prosper, Harris, Hutchinson, Pate, and Ray. Here's Ross, now Olivia Harris. Far side wing guarded by Pate, has a little bit of advantage. Nimmo will take an open three. Back iron no good, she hits the floor, no foul called, but Pate's there with the rebound. Averett with another chance to cut into this lead, just trailing by 4 now. Prosper far side gets it inside to Hutchinson. Good defense from Spainhour to deny that entry pass. Harris pump fakes on the three, drives on Nimmo. The right-handed layup is up and good, and a great move there from Harris. That's her 4th point of the night. And that lead cut from 7 at the start of this quarter to just 2 at 23-21. Mullins near side wing. Now Spainhour, now Nimmo. Harris on the far side. She'll drive baseline. Has Ross. The mid-range jumper from her is rims around and out. No good. Couple of tough possessions for the Hornets in the early going in this second period. Here's Harris. Great defense from Maddie Nimmo. Ball goes out of bounds off of her, but I mean, if you can stand there strong against a guard who's just a little bit bigger than you, it's always a positive thing, and Maddie Nimmo has brought a life to this team ever since she's really stepped up since that game in the early going, I believe it was against Randolph. So, I mean, Nimmo has the heart out there. She's leading the team in points, and she's also leading the team in kind of energy, I would say.
Absolutely, and it's the stats that don't come up on the stat sheet. The hustle that she brings to the squad, very important as we go down the stretch.
Yep, Pate gets inside, the right-handed layup, no good, but there will be a foul called. I believe that foul will be on number 2, Olivia Harris. There was a little bit of confusion there. That ball seemed to go out of bounds before Harris got to it. Kind of stopped play for a second until they figured it out, got the ball inside to Pate. Her first free throw up. Touches every part of the rim and goes down. Pate shoots 62% from the free throw line. She's able to connect on 1 of 2 there. Here's Gant for the Hornets. 1 point lead. Trying to get inside to Kelly. They will. She has a height advantage. Goes up and tries to get it, but Ray is there to take it away for the Cougars, and they'll have a chance to take the lead here for the first time since the first quarter.
And a wide open look. Rims out. If you're Averett, you really want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the shots that are open, but as this momentum shifts early in the second quarter, being able to keep it on Lynchburg.
Yeah, Coleman had the shot there, and again, it was just like that free throw, except this time it touched every part of the rim and didn't go down. For the Hornets, we'll see a change. The first time we'll see Ashley Vandergrift today. We talked about her earlier in the broadcast. Leads the conference in three-point percentage, so you don't want to leave her open on the perimeter. Inside to Kelly. Outside to Vandergrift, now Gant. Gant throws her left fist up in the air, calling a play. Spainhour comes to set the screen, she'll take it. Inside to Spainhour, great pick and roll, the right-handed layup up and good.
And when you shoot the three as well as Lynchburg does, you have to respect the three-point line, but never forget that backdoor cut.
Yeah, great play there called by Taylor Gant, and Bree Spainhour doing a good job of just creating a shot for herself as Elisa Harris on the other side immediately responding with the and one. She'll have a chance to tie the game. I mean, just a strong move and what looked like pretty good defense from the Hornets, but Elisa Harris just a little too strong.
See a lot of minutes from Harris throughout the season. Coach Driver trusting her top guard.
Harris unable to convert on that three-point play, but it's still a one-point game in favor of the Hornets. Mullins gets the ball quickly, wants to shoot it, she won't. Here's Gant, now Vandergrift. Pump fakes on the three, good defense there by the Cougars. And the steal there for Averett. Nearly a backcourt violation, and Taylor Gant had almost nowhere to go with that ball, just nicely threw it out of bounds. It's just, I mean, that was a really tough play there. I think she caught the ball on this side of the court. If she would have caught it on the other side, she would have been able to take her time and figure it out. But as soon as she got it on this side, she had to keep from stepping back over and pretty much had nothing there. So tough play for her, and kind of the same thing we saw with Kayla Sledge earlier.
For sure. Unfortunate position, and those are the plays that just come with the game. You have to be able to capitalize when you get the chance.
Yeah, it looked like Evans had a good backdoor cut there, but Macy Mullins was there to cut that off. Here's Vandergrift. She'll take her first three of the night and knock it down. We talked about it earlier. You can't leave her open from behind the arc. She does lead the conference in three-point percentage, so she gets her first three of the game and her first 3 points. It's a 4-point lead for the Hornets. Here's Harris. Now Coleman. Coleman unable to handle it. Gant going the other way. Harris playing defense. Gant hits the floor, and Hutchinson is there to pick it up for the Cougars. Lynchburg maybe getting out a little bit too quick there, unable to handle that pass as Harris drives again, and the right-handed layup is good. We've seen her go to her right side for all of her shots in the paint here today. Be very interesting to see if Lynchburg is able to maybe force her to her left and see if she can create something that way. Sledge has a little bit of a height advantage inside. They can't get it to her yet. Here's Gant. Long skip pass to Mullins. Wide open three for her. Back iron no good. Rebound will go out of bounds in favor of the Cougars. We'll see a couple changes for the Hornets. Brooke Kaysen and Maddie Nimmo checking back in. Taylor Gant, sitting on 2 fouls, I believe, is checking out, along with Macy Mullins. And for the Cougars, it's Hutchinson, Evans, Jones, Pate, and Coleman out there. Here's Jones. They'll say she double dribbled.
Lots of screening for Averett, trying to get into the paint.
Yeah, a lot of high ball screens for him in the early going, but that'll bring us to our under 5 media timeout here in the second quarter. 28-26 is our score. Hornets lead here on LHSN.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here. And I've learned that over my 4 years is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to like work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone helping them achieve their first goal of, I don't know, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure.
So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Turner Gymnasium, and while the Hornets can push the ball and shoot the three really well, a lot of their points in this game have been coming from the paint, courtesy of Bree Spainhour. Already 8 points for her. She has 4 rebounds. She's been pretty much everywhere for the Hornets, and she's been a bright spot for Lynchburg today. Maddie Nimmo called for a travel on that opening possession coming out of a timeout. Not something you really want to see. Not an offensive breakdown, just a little mental mistake. So nothing to do with the play call. Evans will bring the ball up the floor for the Cougars. Now Hutchinson, now Jones. Here's Evans, she wants to shoot it, instead she'll drive baseline. Good jump stop, great pass to Pate. Kayla Sledge thought she had a clean block, instead she is going to be called for a foul, and Natisha Pate's gonna head to the line to shoot 2. Thus far in this quarter, Lynchburg 3 fouls, and the Cougars have done a really good job of not fouling. No fouls thus far. So the first free throw is up and no good.
See, early in this matchup, both teams with 8 turnovers. You have to think, with Averett averaging 26 a game, just to be able to stay even with Lynchburg, that's going to really benefit them down the stretch.
Yeah, and you have to think that whoever wins that turnover battle is probably going to win this game, and that sounds like a football comment, but judging by how it's going tonight, it's probably going to be the outcome today. Vandergrift now Nimmo, she wants to shoot it. Instead, she'll find Kaysen. Kaysen to Sledge. Sledge tries to find Nimmo on the cut, but Nimmo stopped that. Cougars out in transition the other way. It looked like for a second Hutchinson was going to travel. Instead, Pate was there on the rebound, and she'll get another offensive rebound, the second of the possession, and we'll see a jump ball going towards the Cougars. Averett thought that might have been a foul, and Desiree Driver's very adamant about that call on the other side. I'm not exactly sure. Didn't have the best angle from up here, but either way, the ball still ends up with Averett, so not too much to complain about on that side. Mullins and Harris and Ross check back into the game for the Hornets. Jones the inbound. She'll get it up top. Long three from Evans. Backboard no good. Rebound tipped around. Darcy Ross comes down with it. Great to get a defensive rebound there after possession where it seemed like every bounce fell Averett's way. Here's Macy Mullins with another three, and she'll knock it down.
Great example of turning defense into offense. For Lynchburg especially, any miss, you have to get out in transition and use the three-point line.
Yeah, Macy Mullins knocks down her third three of the game, and the Hornets extend that lead back up to 4. Here's Jones, now Evans, driving on Mullins. Euro step inside to Pate. Great defense from Olivia Harris, and they'll call her for the foul. Olivia Harris sitting on 2 fouls. I believe this one will be her 3rd. We'll get another look at it. Pate just has that little bit of a height advantage, and it looked like Harris did get a hand on the wrist or the arm of Pate. Pate doing a lot of her damage in the early going from the free throw line. Hasn't connected on a field goal yet.
Very active in the painted area early on.
Definitely using the size advantage that she has to kind of provide looks for herself, and at that point you almost have to double her. Obviously Spainhour in the game now can do a little bit of a better job of staying with her. It was tough getting Olivia Harris that switch onto her, especially with a height advantage. I mean, there's almost nothing you can do, and she played about as good as defense as you could, just got called for the foul. And that's definitely something you don't want to see for Lynchburg, seeing one of your star players out in the early going with 3 fouls.
It will be a very good test of the depth of this squad.
Brooke Kaysen can't connect on the 3, but Darcy Ross was there on the rebound, and then another tie-up. This time it'll favor Lynchburg. 18 to shoot. Gant will inbound for the Hornets. Gets it inside to Mullins. Mullins now Kaysen, now Gant. Gant has Spainhour in the corner. She'll take a 3. Back iron no good. Rebound has 2 Hornets looking at it, and yet another tie up. This one will give the ball back to the Cougars.
Great hustle off the rebound. You really have to make sure, if you're Averett, that you're getting those rebounds, being able to take possession as much as you can. Lynchburg, a squad that the longer they have the ball, more time to get open on the three-point line, as we've seen early.
Yeah, and Averett's done a really good job, however, on that defensive end of kind of limiting those opportunities. Obviously, a couple defensive breakdown leads to open threes. As that layup up and no good, and who's there other than Pate, who will travel on that play. She wanted the and one, and the entire Averett bench thought it might have been. Instead, they'll say that she traveled on the play.
Even plays like that, the energy that Pate is bringing to this game, as you see, very impressive, and it's going to continue to motivate the squad down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely a welcome sight for the Cougars to be in this game. Obviously, the Hornets shooting pretty well from behind the arc, but Averett not doing so bad themselves, only down 2. So we'll see a foul called, I believe, on number 21, Olivia Garner. Her 3rd foul, so a lot of players in the early going in foul trouble. However, that's just the 1st foul, I believe, in this 2nd quarter on the Cougars. 2:08 left in this 2nd quarter. Gant to inbound under her basket. She'll find Spainhour. Spainhour picks up her dribble and now finds Mullins at the top of the key. Here's Gant. Throws that left fist up in the air once more. Here's Spainhour on that screen. Gant won't send Spainhour to the bucket this time. Instead, she'll find Kaysen for 3. That one's no good. Rebound tipped around. And we'll see a foul called on Macy Mullins. Just a little bit late there trying to fight for that tie-up. It is okay, though. That is only her 1st foul. But it is the team's 5th.
That shows just the aggression of this game. Both Lynchburg and Averett, lots of fouls, but lots of hustle plays. And if you're either coach, you like to see that in a disciplined manner.
First free throw from Sams is up and good. And yeah, you talk about all those hustle plays, and if there was a counter for how many tie-ups and jump balls we've seen today, I mean, it's probably more than you see in a regular basketball game for an entire game. And we're just a little over halfway through this 2nd quarter, so these teams really want this win. They know how important it is, and it's a tie game here.
With Averett switching up the defense quite a bit throughout the half, it allows Lynchburg to use different sets, but you have to stay energized. Use shooting to their advantage.
Yeah, Lynchburg just struggling a little bit with that movement at the top of the key. Here's Mullins driving baseline with 7 to shoot. They'll call a foul on Evans. But Lynchburg in the early going, you saw them setting a lot of screens at the top of the key and kind of running off of off-ball screens on the free throw line to try and get that movement on the top of the key. You haven't seen much of it lately. Maybe just a little bit of a different look because of that zone. Good catch there by Spainhour. She'll drive and find Kelly. That mid-range jumper no good. Ball hits the floor. Evans will come up with it, who will find Pate. And now Harris will go the other way for the Cougars, looking to take their first lead since that 1st quarter. Tie game at 31. Harris trying to shed Gant. Instead, they'll call an offensive foul. Taylor Gant in the right place at the right time, getting square to that drive on Elisa Harris. And just one of those hustle plays that you see again, sacrificing your body for the team. And with a minute left, both teams trying to pick up a little bit of momentum going into the halftime whistle, but the Hornets obviously have that advantage right now. Here's Spainhour. Mullins open in the corner. Instead, it's Gant. Rims in and out. No good. Evans pushing the other way for the Cougars. 15-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Ball goes out of bounds. And we'll go back to the Hornets with 38.9 seconds remaining in this half. Gant's done a lot of the ball handling in the early going for the Hornets, something you'd see Nimmo do. And on that step, she just slipped a little bit. An easy call for the referees. But they have done a really good job of breaking down that pressure, kind of not with moving the ball, I wouldn't say. The kind of zone full court pressure has gone away, and it's now more of a man. So I think Averett, a good adjustment there. But they'll have a chance to hold for the final shot here. Not sure if they will.
And with the game tied, you really want to get some momentum going into halftime.
Here's Harris. Now Sams, now Harris once more. 12 to shoot. Looks like she will hold for the final shot. Now 10. Here's Jones, guarded by Spainhour. Jones shoots from the top of the key, mid-range, backboard and in. And that'll bring us to halftime. The Cougars fight back in the second quarter, erase a 7-point deficit, and turn it into a 2-point lead as we head into halftime. It's 33-31, Cougars lead here on LHSN.
My name is Jen Hyde. I graduated in 2018 and I got my major in philosophy, political science, and I minored in human services. And career-wise, right now I have classes, even if it's not within your major, if there's a class you're interested in, take it. Kind of explore your options because Lynchburg does have such a wide variety of different things that you can do. Be involved, become a well-rounded individual because Lynchburg sets up the support to where you can do that here.
John Eccles joined the Lynchburg College community in 1986 as Director of Housing. As his famous beard grew, so too did his stature with the students he served on a daily basis. He seemed to be everywhere and rapidly became an integral part of campus life. He was asked to serve temporarily as Dean of Students in 1993 and soon earned the position on a permanent basis. In 2007, he became Vice President for Student Development, a position he held until his retirement in 2016. Simply put, John Eccles set the standard for student affairs professionals. He led the growth of Hornet pride throughout the last 2 decades of his service through his direct and constant interaction with students, through his colorful sense of humor, through his visibility on campus, through the red chairs, the red chair blogs, and all the colorful emails to students. He created the annual Leadership Awards ceremony. In addition, John contributed his sense of humor, his calm demeanor, and his common sense approach to the leadership of the college at the highest levels of administration. He even donned a hard hat and work boots to supervise the construction of the Drysdale Student Center. His summer talks to new students, although wrapped in humor, were serious as he spoke his mantra, "Involvement is not an option, it is an expectation." He lived that ideal through his own involvement in student life, as the head cheerleader at Hornet athletic contests, and as a friendly and approachable face for generations of students. His legacy is a treasure for the students whose lives he impacted and a challenge for the entire university community to emulate.
My name is Sarah Watts, and I'm a computer science major. I chose to play softball at the University of Lynchburg because I came to friendlies and camps, and the team and the coaches were so welcoming, and after that, I knew this was the place for me. The University of Lynchburg has helped me achieve goals because through my classes, I do group projects, and I think that will prepare me for my job when I need to work with people. The person that has the most influence in my life would be my parents, because throughout my softball career, they have done nothing but support me, and when I have bad games, they always pick me up, and they're always the people that I go to for anything because they just know that they're always there for me. I like playing softball at the University of Lynchburg because the girls and the team, they're all super fun to be around, and they always welcome you, and they're always there if you need anything, and if you ever have any questions, they're the people that can answer them for you.
My name is Marlene Castaños. I graduated in 2009. I was a communication major. I am a digital producer now for the Martin Agency. So we have brought up amazing clients from Geico to Land O'Lakes to Oreo. So we get to create amazing content, all those funny Geico commercials that you see. And as a digital producer, I get to create amazing content for digital. I was very highly involved here. I was president of my class while I was here. I was president of the Hispanic Society. I joined a sorority when I was here. I had like 2 jobs. So having a sense of managing my time, it kind of pushed me to be better at my job right now. Just knowing that you had someone on your corner was really important, and they really took the time to really invest in their students. I felt like I had a cheerleading squad behind me at every single point. They were the ones that encouraged me to look for those opportunities, to push myself to be better. So it's definitely truly an amazing place. I brag about this place all the time. So if anyone gets lucky enough to be part of this community, it's life-changing.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium, where the Averett Cougars had a really good second quarter, erasing a 7-point deficit and turning it into a 2-point lead at the halftime break. And thus far, we've seen a lot of players step up. Macy Mullins has 9 on 3 three-pointers from the Hornets. And then on the other side, Bree Spainauer has 8, all coming inside the paint. Taylor Ray for the Cougars has 9, as well as Elisa Harris has 8 for them. What has really stood out for you in terms of, I guess, team comparisons?
Well, these teams early on, relatively even. We see 11 turnovers each. It's really the difference at the free throw line why I think Averett has had so much success. 12 makes compared to Lynchburg's 1, and it just shows the aggression stats early on because Coach Driver, with the press, with the defense, really wanting to get a lot out of the squad, and it's been important to wear Lynchburg down early on because we all know Lynchburg can shoot the ball at a very high rate. So as we see, Averett actually out-shooting Lynchburg at three-point percentage, but it's really going to come down to hustle stats in the second half.
Yeah, and 42.9% is almost 20% above the normal clip that Averett shoots at. So you might be questioning how that's going on. However, they've only shot 7 threes, so they're 3 for 7. The Hornets on the other end have shot 16 threes and only made 6 of those. So shooting around, or I guess they're shooting above their normal percentage, but still, Lynchburg relying on the three-point line a little bit too much, I would say, in the early going. But other than that, it's been a really even game. Offensive rebounds, I believe it's 8-6 in favor of the Cougars. So we're going to need to find something that Lynchburg can do down the stretch in order to get inside and kind of stop Averett from forcing up those shots and getting fouls and heading to the free throw line, because a lot of their points are coming from there. And if the Cougars end up winning this game, that's where it's going to be.
For sure, and not only the free throw line, but as they've continued to shoot well, it's really important to lock that down early on.
Yeah, I completely agree. Threes raining down in the early going of this game. We'll take a little bit of a break and come back here for the start of the third quarter. It's 33-31 in favor of the Averett Cougars. We'll be right back on LHSN.
Thomas Gibson Hobbs graduated from Virginia Christian College in 1904 as a member of its first graduating class. After earning a law degree from the University of Virginia, he settled in Lynchburg and began a highly successful career as an attorney. In January of 1915, he was invited to attend a meeting of the College Board of Trustees, during which the possibility of closing the college due to financial concerns was to be considered. Mr. Hobbs spoke eloquently of the need to fight for the college's existence, and the board decided to continue operating the institution. He was asked to serve on the board at that meeting and served as the chairman of the Board of Trustees from 1918 until his tragic death in 1942. Mr. Hobbs was a guiding light as the college changed its name to Lynchburg College and moved toward becoming an accredited liberal arts institution. His relationships with the economic power structure of the city played a critical role as the young college struggled financially through the depths of the Great Depression. His belief in Josephus Hopwood's vision of the college never wavered, as reflected in his message to the student body in the late 1930s. Lynchburg College, with continued wise leadership, is just on the threshold of development into an institution which will, in still larger measure, build sound leadership in church and school and state, a leadership which will look for its reward in the consciousness of service rendered and a task well done. Upon his death in 1942, the Board of Trustees unanimously adopted a resolution of appreciation which named Mr. Hobbs as, quote, the college's greatest leader, unquote.
Everyone has a story, a triumph, a time they fell short, a gift, a light all their own. Every story has a beginning. For us, our stories began long before we got here, at the moment we discovered we had something to share with the world. But no matter where we've been, our journeys weave together at the University of Lynchburg. Since 1903, we've grown from a handful of students to a diverse, dynamic community of students, professors, staff, and alumni around the world. In a community that supports who we are and who we want to be, we're on a journey to find where our passions lead so we can lead others to find theirs. Together, we have more experience, we have more knowledge than we do alone. Eventually, our stories will lead us to a path all our own, and we will share our passions with the world. No matter the journey we choose, the University of Lynchburg is, and always will be, our home.
Here's to life and here's to Lynchburg, to the years we spent together. I don't know when or how we gathered, but I know I'm home.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium on LHSN. We've got a great game thus far at the halftime buzzer. It's 33-31, but let's take a chance to look at Lynchburg's upcoming schedule in their fight to try and make the ODAC tournament. On Saturday, they'll face off on LHSN here in Turner against Mary Washington, and then go on the road and play against the league-leading Randolph Wildcats. Last time those two teams met, it was a very good contest, and then after that, they get Eastern Mennonite and Roanoke. So schedule down the road for Lynchburg is kind of tough, and they're going to need to find some wins in order to kind of secure their place, but they do have that 2-game cushion in the ODAC. First shot there of the second half for the Hornets, no good on an Olivia Harris 3. And Elisa Harris will push it the other way for the Cougars. Here's Ray. Now Prosper at the top of the key. Prosper will drive in an acrobatic layup, no good. Not one that many players in this country are going to knock down there, moving away from the basket and out of bounds. Definitely a tough one. Here's Mullins. Now Harris, she is open. She won't take the three. Instead, they'll find Spainhour on the far side corner, who gets Nimmo in the paint. Great move and a great drive. Not rewarded on the shot, just barely rims out. And a couple of good defensive possessions thus far for the Cougars. Looking to extend their 2-point lead. Harris takes a screen from Hutchinson. She'll find Gardner, who will drive. And the foul will be called on Maddie Nimmo. Looked like she was trying to get out of the way there. Just maybe caught a stray elbow there from the freshman. That is the second foul called on Maddie Nimmo.
We've seen early in this half from both teams trying to spread it out a little bit and get to the paint.
Yeah, and for Averett in the game right now is not Natija Pate, so she's been pretty dominant for the Cougars, but obviously trying to go a different direction, maybe play a little bit smaller. As here's Hutchinson, mid-range jumper, no good. Rebound tipped around. They wanted it to go out of bounds, but Bree Spainhour was there to get her 5th rebound of the game, and Maddie Nimmo will drive, and they'll call a blocking foul on Elisa Harris. You see right there just the quickness of Maddie Nimmo to get down the court and force that shot. Lisa Harris looked to be in a pretty good position there. Just a little bit of shuffling, not exactly square to the driving Nimmo, and she'll have 2 shots at the free throw line. First one is up and good. She is shooting 70% from the free throw line this year.
As we touched on at the half, very important for Lynchburg to get to the line in the second half. Just 1 make in the first.
Yeah, and already doubling that here in the second half. Maddie Nimmo knocks down both, and we've got a tie game at 33. Prosper closely guarded by Harris. It's stolen away by Mullins. Averett a good job of getting back and keeping Lynchburg from getting out in transition, but that leads to an open 3 for Harris. Front iron, no good. Rebound to Elisa Harris, and she'll push the other way, but slow it down when she realized it was a 2-on-3.
We've seen that skip pass a few times from Lynchburg now.
Yeah, and it's led to a lot of open shots, and they're just not really falling to this point, but if you're going to give Lynchburg those open shots, being the 2nd best 3-point shooting team in the conference, you have to expect to get burnt eventually. Maybe Desiree Driver playing with fire for the Cougars. 5 to shoot. It's Prosper in the corner, driving on Harris. The mid-range jumper up and no good. But the Cougars were bailed out by a foul. Olivia Harris now 4 fouls. Definitely was a highlight of the Cougars to come out into the second half and maybe draw that 4th foul on her, put her back on the bench. We said earlier, anytime you can get the best player on the other team or one of the best players on the other team on the bench for an extended period of time, especially with 4 fouls, and we've got 17 minutes left to play, not exactly a highlight for the Hornets.
For sure, and it illustrates really what we've seen all game from Averett, being able to put pressure on the Hornets, get to the hoop.
Yeah, and they've just played really aggressive, trying to get the ball inside and just create opportunities from close range. You haven't seen them try and shoot many threes, but when they've shot them, they've knocked them down. So they've kind of been fighting the best of both worlds for them. Talia Prosper did check out, and Skylar Jones checked in for the Cougars over that break. Here's Ross. She has Nimmo open, who will pump fake on the 3. Instead, she'll drive and find Ross. A mid-range jumper from her. Rims around and out and no good.
Good movement from the Hornets, though. You see, even when they're going inside, they're getting back out to the three-point line, trying to stretch the floor.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot of open shots in the early going of this second half, but Averett doing a really good job of just being in the right places at the right times to come down with the rebounds on those misses. As here's Lynchburg out in transition. They have Spainhour inside. We'll see if they get it to her. Nimmo was just a little bit late as Spainhour was trying to clear out. It's a 3-on-1 going the other way. And an offensive foul called on Janez Hutchinson.
What a hustle from Macy Mullins going down the court, getting in position. If you're Lynchburg, that is a very big turn of events.
Yeah, and one of those ones that just grabs the momentum. Obviously, it looked like it was a 2 or 3-on-1 going the other way for the Cougars. Instead, it ends up in a turnover. And Lynchburg, instead of maybe trailing by 3 or 4, they now have a chance to cut this lead and take the lead back.
Wide open 3, and as we've talked about, stretching the floor, getting inside, and delivering.
Yep, the drive and kick game working well as Brooke Kaysen has her second 3 of the night and her 6th point. And we're going to take this timeout with them. It's 36-34, Lynchburg leads. 6:40 left here in the third quarter.
At Lynchburg, we don't fear change. We embrace it. In our students, on our campus, in our community, and around the world. We're building on our legacy of always moving forward. It's the same place, with a new name. Welcome to the University of Lynchburg.
A lot of people go to the universities.
Welcome back to Turner Gymnasium. Play already underway here after that media timeout. So Cougars with the ball. Ray now near side. Jones on the drive and a foul called. I believe that'll go against Maddie Nimmo. Her 3rd foul. She'll check out. And Kayla Terry will check in for the 2nd time here today.
Early in the second half, have to find some discipline. We see 4 on Harris, now 3 on Nimmo. With a tight game, you really need your starters in the last bit, so it'll be interesting to see how Coach Nichols adjusts.
Yeah, Lynchburg, a great job of defending that baseline inbounds. A 5-second call on the Cougars. Jones unable to get it inbounds. And just another turnover that kind of hurts the Cougars. Instead of, we talked about it earlier, that offensive foul kind of flipped the momentum. Instead of having it maybe be a chance to take the lead or extend that lead to 4 or 5 points, now they trail by 2 and Lynchburg has a chance to extend. Here's Terry inside to Ross. Ross finds Terry again, has an open Mullins, who will take another 3. That one no good. Rebound taken down by Olivia Garner. Harris the other way for the Cougars, finds Evans. 2 prevailing point guards in the game right now for the Cougars, and Evans and Harris. Both have handled the ball quite well today. Ball will go out of bounds off of the Hornets. And Averett in the same position they were on their last possession, trying to inbound the ball under Lynchburg's basket. We'll see if they have a little better luck trying to get it in this time. It's the same inbounder in Jones. They do find Harris.
Looking to get it into paint, too, down in the paint. You see, even when she doesn't get the ball, still such a presence with her size.
There was a foul called on that play by Casey Kelly, so maybe a little blessing in disguise makes him inbound it once more. Instead, it'll lead to an open mid-range jumper there from Garner, no good. Rebound, Terry going the other way for the Hornets. Averett a little slow getting back inside to Spainhour. The kick outside Kaysen, who pump fakes and finds Terry. Good recovery now inside to Spainhour, who has the height advantage. Right-handed layup, no good. Nearly gets her own rebound, but it's Garner who comes down with it, and Evans pushes it the other way for the Cougars. Evans finds Harris, who travels. Little tough, almost hesitated trying to either pump fake that shot or decide whether or not to take it or not, and just a little mental mistake.
And that's what happens with Lynchburg being in the right position at the right time. Showing a lot of energy early on in the second half.
Here's Kaysen, now Terry. She wants to shoot it. Instead, she'll pump fake and find Kelly. Kelly to Mullins. Drives, gets doubled on the baseline. No one out to help her. She will find Terry. Terry with 3 to shoot, crosses over. The mid-range floater is good. A great offensive turn of events there for the Hornets. It looked like Mullins was caught in the corner with nothing going on, but Terry able to bail out the Hornets on that possession, and Brooke Kaysen with a steal going the other way. Lynchburg looking to extend. Here's Terry, a mid-range jumper. Front iron, no good. Rebound tipped around. Ends up in the hands of Natija Pate.
Averett very fortunate that one didn't go in. We see the momentum right now with the Hornets. Can they continue to press on?
Yeah, I can imagine that would have been the loudest we would have heard this gym tonight if that bucket would have fallen. Good defense there on Pate, denying that entry pass, but a long pass there from the Hornets is turned over. Harris had the open 3. Instead, she'll drive. Won't convert on the shot, but she'll head to the line to shoot 2.
Since the beginning of this one, we've talked about turnovers. Both teams committing quite a few now. Averett 17, Lynchburg 12. Got to take care of the basketball down the stretch.
Yeah, and Lynchburg has done a really good job of kind of limiting those turnovers in the second half. They haven't had that many since that buzzer, but we're going to take a little break here, and when we come back, we'll see the finish of the third quarter. It's 38-34. Lynchburg leads on LHSN. Back in Turner Gymnasium, where Elisa Harris has 2 free throws to cut this lead, this 4-point lead, and maybe in half. Harris has 8 points on the night. First free throw up and no good. And for a team that shot free throws so well in the first half, kind of slacking a little bit. They've only taken, I would say, 3 free throws in the second half thus far in the first 6 minutes and 10 seconds. That one does drop, however, and the lead is cut to just 3 points.
Once again, we see this pressure. Have to stay patient if you're Lynchburg. You saw early on breaking the press, getting some quality looks. This Averett team hasn't forgotten that, but you have to take care of the basketball first.
Yeah, Averett's done a good job in that man-to-man full-court pressure. The zone kind of broke down in the early going, but playing in the half court has done Averett a lot of good things. Here's Mullins drive baseline on Evans. Instead, she'll pull it out and try to find Kelly, but Jones was there to take it away for the Cougars. And they'll have a chance to cut this lead to 1 or tie it here with a 3. Harris, now Evans. Has Hutchinson cutting to the basket, but good recovery from Spainhour to deny the entry pass. Here's Harris, now Jones. Jones to Hutchinson. Jump stop, right-handed layup, no good. Spainhour on another rebound.
And Spainhour now on the game. 6 rebounds. Feeling her presence.
8 early points from Spainhour. Hasn't converted in a little bit. Started 4 for 4. She's 4 for 6 now. You have to imagine if the Hornets are going to really take control of this game, it's going to start with her. Here's Mullins. She'll call for that screen. Instead, she won't take it. She'll find Kaysen. She'll take the 3. Knocks it down.
Using up every second of the shot clock.
Brooke Kaysen with her 3rd 3 of the game. Brings that lead back up to 6 for the Hornets, the largest it's been in quite some time. Maybe Averett on the ropes just a little bit here. A bucket would go a long way for their momentum. Jones trying to get that entry pass to Hutchinson, but good defense by Spainhour denies it. Harris, the mid-range jumper. Well, she'll get fouled. Harris did a good job to beat Macy Mullins off the dribble. But Macy Mullins just a little bit late, called on that foul. Most likely touched the wrist of the shooter. For the Hornets, we'll see a couple changes. Darcy Ross will check back in along with Ashley Vandergrift. Maddie Nimmo also checking back into the game. Harris will miss that free throw. Still stuck at 9 points. Missed the front end last time out.
As we've talked about early in the second half, free throws turning out to be very important.
The second free throw up and good. B. Kelly to inbound. She'll find Nimmo. And no full court presser, maybe with Nimmo in the game. Trying to avoid that. Don't really want Nimmo's speed to break you down. They'd rather play in the half court. Offensive foul called there. I believe it's going to go against number 20, Casey Kelly. Her 3rd foul. So a lot of Hornets in some foul trouble. However, we are ticking closer and closer to the end of this 3rd quarter. So with 3 fouls and that much time left, you wouldn't be too worried about it, but you also have the factor that Olivia Harris is sat on the bench almost the entirety of this quarter with 4 fouls. Not exactly ideal if you're a Hornets fan.
This is when depth becomes crucial. We've seen so many players touch the floor from either team.
And great defensive pressure there for the Hornets. Leads to a turnover and a foul in transition called on Taylor Ray. Maddie Nimmo just had a little bit of a pace advantage to try and sneak by Ray, but they'll call a foul. But back to the point, I mean, without Harris in the game, you lose one of your premier shooters, but it also gives you an opportunity to bring in Maddie Nimmo, who can also take those shots and frees her up. Ashley Vandergrift leads the conference in 3-point shooting, and Brooke Kaysen has 3 threes already on the night. So they're finding their points in other places, and it's not like they're relying on just one person.
And with the speed of this offense, if they continue to move the ball, you're going to see positive results.
The 3 from Vandergrift, no good, and we will see another jump ball. This one will go in favor of the Cougars. But not a shot that you'd be too angry about there, Ashley Vandergrift. We've said it time and time again, one of the best 3-point shooters in the conference. You'd almost be welcoming that shot, because if it falls, you're up 8 and the momentum's completely in your hands. And now if it was a little bit of a, if it was a tie game or you were down a couple of points, not a shot you'd really want to see. You'd rather move the ball, try and get it inside. Here's Ray, finds Harris. Nimmo closely guarding, good job to get around that screen. Evans now driving, gets by, but loses the handle. It ends up in the hands of Darcy Ross. Maddie Nimmo bringing it up the court now for the Hornets. Good job. She'll go straight to the basket. The left-handed layup, no good. But she'll head to the line to shoot 2 with 49.5 seconds left here in this 3rd quarter.
Good things happen when you go to the bucket. And even with a small Lynchburg team, we've seen it work out quite a few times in this game. It's really just about confidence and being able, when you're shooting as well as you are, to continue to drive.
Yeah, and as you saw there, she just got downhill. Kind of saw that the defenders were slacking off just a little bit, maybe guarding that 3-point line on the near side, which just left that basket wide open. Obviously, she wasn't able to make it, but that was because she was fouled. And if you can put a free throw shooter who shoots 70% like Maddie Nimmo on the free throw line, it's definitely a welcome sight for the Hornets as they extend that lead back up to 7, which is what it was at the end of the first quarter. The Cougars looking to cut into this deficit a little bit before the final break. Here's Harris. Now Evans. Evans far skip past to Ray. Ray has the open 3 and she'll take it. That one no good. Rebound Evans, however, who double dribbles or travels, sorry. Maybe a little bit of both. The travel came first. Good defensive possession there from the Hornets. And a great closeout. It looked like she might have had that open 3, just unable to knock it down. And then good pressure on the defense to force that turnover, but 28 seconds left.
It feels like those are the swings that Lynchburg has really been able to take advantage of in this ball game, using the momentum, using the energy.
And Nimmo doing a good job there of breaking down the press with a good pass. With 16 to shoot, we'll see if she waits for the final shot. She'll call for that screen from Ross and drive. She has an open. Brooke Kaysen for 3, knocks it down. Exactly what the Hornets were looking for, extending that lead to 10 points. Here's Harris with 1 to shoot. And she'll respond immediately. Elisa Harris saw the 3 from Brooke Kaysen and said, let me one-up you at the buzzer. And instead of a 10-point deficit, it's only 7.
Shooting on full display tonight.
Yeah, Brooke Kaysen, 12 points right there. I mean, just doing an incredible job for the Hornets. But it's a 7-point lead, and we'll take a break, and we'll see the fourth quarter when we come back here on LHSN.
My name is Brittany Coleman. I graduated in 2014, and I have a major in chemistry and a minor in secondary education. And I'm currently teaching chemistry and 7th grade science at a local combined school. Being able to have access to your professors pretty much anytime they're in their office is really helpful, especially in difficult science subjects. I love that I am able to teach a difficult subject to students who typically aren't going to perceive it as enjoyable. I'm able to present it in an interesting way because I was presented this information in an interesting way. It's nice for me to be able to mirror what it was that influenced me to be able to teach.
Brooke Kaysen knocking down the 3 in front of her bench, which we thought was going to be the final shot of that quarter, but Elisa Harris says, no, I want some too. Gets her 13th point on the night and cuts that Lynchburg lead to 7 points. She's kind of been the heart of this team in that third quarter, with Natija Pate on the bench. Haven't seen much of her in this second half. Here's Nimmo at the top of the key with 22 to shoot. She wants a play. Spainhour says to go the other way. Kaysen. Near side wing, now Spainhour at the top of the key, now Mullins. Mullins to Nimmo. Nimmo has the drive instead. She wanted Kaysen to come off that screen at the top of the key. 6 to shoot, it's Mullins at the top of the key. Takes the screen from Ross. Crosses over, the kick to Spainhour. She won't get the shot off.
See them taking a little too much time there, but the driving has really been working, especially in that third quarter, spreading the floor.
Yeah, Lynchburg, not a great result on that offensive possession, but maybe something you can see more of in this fourth quarter. That driving and kicking action has done really good for the Hornets, especially when they have those open 3s right there, just a little bit too late on that shot clock. We will get an offensive foul call here.
Looks like Evans called for it.
Believe that actually went against Olivia Garner, her 4th foul. Be very surprised to see if just how long she stays in. She did start this game. Here's Ross. Ross out to Mullins. Mullins for 3. Got it. Macy Mullins brings the lead to the largest of the night. It's 10 points for the Hornets. 9 minutes remaining. Averett needs to make something happen. Here's Prosper. The right-handed layup is good. Nimmo the other way, waits for Spainhour to get up. She will find Spainhour, and now far side to Kaysen. Kaysen, Mullins. And now Nimmo once more trying to get inside to Darcy Ross. Nothing doing. Long skip pass to Kaysen. She'll take a three. Back iron no good. Rebound to Evans. And a jump ball called. Possession arrow will favor the Cougars.
And it's important for Kaysen, even with the miss, keeping that confidence throughout the game. She has been brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, 12 points, all of those coming from behind the arc. And, I mean, Lynchburg finding their points in a lot of different ways. Brooke Kaysen shooting 4 for 7. All of her shots coming actually from behind the arc there. And same thing for Macy Mullins. Nothing inside the paint. She has 12 points as well. Spainhour still stuck on 8. Maddie Nimmo has 9. Another offensive foul call on the Cougars.
Playing teams in the ODAC, it's very important to score the basketball different ways. And we see with this young team, something that Coach Nichols, I would assume, really wants to work on, being able to open other avenues.
Yeah, and this is a team that you've really seen develop ever since the new year. I mean, they're 3-3 in the new year, which you might seem as 500 basketball is pretty good, but considering how the year started, I mean, you have to be extremely happy. It looked like they were going to be fighting for that 10th spot, but now they're in a position to maybe gain their way up to the 6th and get that single bye in the conference. So Lynchburg improving, and not a squad that I would really want to face in the ODAC tournament. Prosper on a good drive, unable to convert, but a telegraph pass from Ross is stolen away by Ray. Macy Mullins takes it back, however, and she'll slow it down. Tries to get it inside to Nimmo, and a couple of interesting possessions for either squad. Prosper inside, left-handed layup, no good. She seems pretty frustrated.
Lynchburg wants to slow it down here. We've seen lots of up and down basketball.
Yeah, definitely a welcome sight for the Hornets. All they have to do right now is take their time. Obviously not that much time, as a 10-second violation is called, not getting the ball across the half-court line. But, I mean, 7 minutes left, you're up 10 points. You don't need to go down and have short possessions. They've done a really good job of knocking down shots late in the shot clock, and that's kind of been where they've found this lead. Alisa Harris showing that she's still here, fouled on the play and knocks down the layup. She'll head to the line for her second chance to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Was unable to her first time. Harris has 15 points. That is Alisa Harris. However, Olivia Harris did check back into the game for the Hornets. She is sitting on 4 fouls, so the next one will be it for her. But obviously they trust her enough to maybe play a little bit of a off-ball defensive role in the last couple of minutes. Here's Spainhour, now Harris. Harris far side kick to Kaysen, who will take yet another three, and she'll knock down yet another three. Brooke Kaysen has eclipsed her season high. Was previously 13, it's now 15 with 6 minutes left here in this game. Harris, now Nimmo. Nimmo called for the travel on the drive, something we've seen a little bit too much of today on both sides of the ball. That and tie-ups have kind of been the theme for this game in terms of calls for these referees. They're definitely getting a lot of good practice in those areas.
We talk about the aggression from both teams as well. I believe 34 total fouls in this ball game.
Yeah, and that's a number that I would feel you don't really get near in any other game. But both of these sides showing just how important this game is to them. And Lynchburg really has kind of stepped up and pulled away in this game, up 10 with 6:14 remaining. Cougars will inbound to Pate, now Harris. Harris guarded by Nimmo, picks up her dribble and finds Ray. Now near side Prosper. Prosper crosses over the step back three-pointer off the backboard and no good. Rebound Maddie Nimmo. She'll push the other way and try and drive baseline. Instead she'll pull back and find Harris with 5:50 left. Here's Harris guarded by Ray. Now Nimmo almost taken away by Prosper. Upside Spainhour, she'll take the three. No good, back iron rebound Kaysen. Kaysen now slowing it down a little bit. She'll find Nimmo with 15 to shoot from that fresh shot clock. Nimmo backs off, calls a play. You have to imagine it's going to be a ball screen here for her from Spainhour, and a foul called before they even got there by Talia Prosper.
See Spainhour all over the court. It's a great way to get that screen up top, puts pressure down low.
Yeah, and it's a play that we've seen all day from the Hornets, just a simple pick and roll, but obviously Prosper knew that screen was coming, and she was maybe worried about getting hit or maybe just trying to take the ball away before she was pushed away from her defender by that screen. But here's Spainhour. The right-handed layup is no good, but a foul called on Natija Pate will send Bree Spainhour to the line to shoot two.
Just Pate's first in this matchup. We've seen her very active down low, both offense and defense.
Yeah, and for someone who's been using their size to their advantage, it's honestly really surprising that she only has one foul to this point. Really good job on her part. Spainhour, 65% from the free throw line. First one is up and no good. Still a 10-point lead for the Hornets. The second free throw from Spainhour is up and no good again. But there's Casey Kelly with the putback layup, no good. Rebound tipped around, ends up in the hand of Hutchinson, who gives it to Harris, who will push the other way. She has Ray on the far side. Olivia Harris does a good job of picking that up and making the Cougars slow down. Prosper near side corner. Now Sams. Sams gets it inside to Hutchinson. Hutchinson, a great move and a foul called there on Casey Kelly. And when you trail by 10 with under 5 left in this game, the best thing you can do is score without the clock running. And when we come back, we will see the end of this conference matchup. Hornets up 10, 54-44. We'll be right back on LHSN.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium for the final 4 minutes and 58 seconds left in this game. The Hornets up 54-44 if you're just joining us. Hutchinson for the Cougars at the line. She will be shooting two. First one is up and good. And before the break, we talked about just how important it was to score without the clock running. And if they can keep getting to that free throw line, which they did so well in the first half, I think this 10-point lead, or 9-point lead, sorry, could really disappear in a short amount of time.
You have to imagine on a dead ball, the press is coming back. So for Lynchburg in that timeout, Coach Nichols, I'm sure, making sure that we can play offense if you're Lynchburg.
Brianna Sams knocks down the three, her 5th point of the game, and Lynchburg, that 10-point lead quickly evaporated to 6. A quick pass to Harris, however, who lays it up and in. And for someone who had 4 fouls there, gets her first 2 points of the game. And that just shows you where the points are coming from today. Lynchburg not getting a lot of production from one of their better players in Olivia Harris, but Brooke Kaysen has 15. Spainhour, I believe, has 9 or 8. So definitely important for other players to step up, but it's an 8-point lead for the Hornets with 4 minutes remaining. Sams inside to Hutchinson. She has the room, and a foul called on Bree Spainauer. Great move there by Janez Hutchinson.
Once again, the clock stops. Chance for Averett to get back in this one late.
Hutchinson only shoots 41% from the free throw line. Not too many opportunities thus far this year. But she does knock down 2 to cut that lead to just 6 points with 4 minutes remaining. Or I should say 3 minutes and 58 seconds, but we round up here.
Making those free throws in clutch time.
Kelly a long pass to Spainauer, you have to imagine is going to slow it down and make Averett defend in the half court. And Lynchburg should put up a shot here late in the shot clock unless they get a good one early. Here's Nimmo off a screen. She'll drive baseline, nearly loses the handle of the ball far side to Mullins, but a foul called on the floor before Mullins could get that shot off. That is the 5th foul called against the Cougars, so it'll send Maddie Nimmo to the line. That foul was called on number 23, Janez Hutchinson.
Once again, and I feel like we've been saying it all night, but Nimmo driving and good things happening.
Yeah, Maddie Nimmo has 11 points here tonight. Chance to add to that total. She knocks down the first free throw and brings that lead back up to 8. But if you're the Cougars, you almost have to say, the clock stopped and you're scoring. I'd rather that happen early in the shot clock than us give up a bucket with 4 or 5 on the shot clock, because then not only do they have to make the free throws, but you're not wasting as much time. So definitely a welcome sight for the Cougars, only down 7 here with 3:30 remaining. Harris gets doubled at the top of the key. That means someone's open. There's Prosper, the three-pointer. No good, rimmed around. Rebound to Ross, and Mullins will bring it up the floor for the Hornets. Mullins picks up her dribble, hands it off to Nimmo with 20 to shoot. Coach Nichols, though, 2 hands up in the air, calls a play for her. Prosper hit there by a hard screen from Spainauer, and Macy Mullins is going to be called for a travel. Mullins just dropping that back foot there on that pump fake just a little bit too much. I think you know if she drops that foot back, you know she's not shooting it, so you know she's going to drive. It's just a little bit too tough to kind of make that timing correct if you're not going to get into an actual shooting position to pump fake. But Talia Prosper there misses the bunny, and what could have been a 5-point game is now 7 with a chance to extend for the Hornets. Nimmo, good jump stop. Kick outside to Mullins. Extends that lead back up to 10 points. Macy Mullins, just when the game might have been in question a little bit for the Hornets, she extends that lead back up to 10 points. That brings her total to 15 points, and we'll take a little bit. We'll take a look. We're actually going to stay here and take a look at a couple of three-pointers. Macy Mullins done a really good job to this point. I mean, Macy Mullins has 15 points. That's Brooke Case in there. She also has 15 points. Her career high, she's 5 for 8 from behind the arc, and that 15 points eclipses her previous total of 13, which she had against Eastern Mennonite. And we talked about it earlier. How important has it been for other players other than Harris? Obviously, Mullins has 15, but other than Harris to step up and kind of score for the Hornets tonight?
It's very important. And in a scrappy game like this, the three-point line is always going to be your friend. You just have to make sure that you're patient and getting the good looks, which I think Lynchburg has done an excellent job of, especially in the second half.
Yeah, Lynchburg has done a really good job of knocking down the looks when they have them as well. Obviously, they go through a little bit of a scoring drought in that second quarter, but since then we haven't seen much go wrong for him. Prosper caught in a little bit of a trap. She'll pass it right to Maddie Nimmo, who goes the other way for the Hornets and slows it down. Mullins with the ball, 2:20 to shoot.
Staying patient. The clock is on your side at this point.
Nimmo out to Mullins, who takes an open 3. Back iron no good. Spainauer on the rebound. Here's Harris. Wants to shoot it, she won't. Instead, they'll reset to Nimmo with 15 to shoot. Just under 2 minutes remaining here. It's a 10-point lead for the home team. Three-pointer from Macy Mullins is good. Macy Mullins, her 18th point on the night, all of them coming from behind the arc. And she's just 2 points shy of her season high. Lisa Harris now. Now Talia Prosper driving, throws it up, and a foul called there. I believe it's going to go against Bree Spainhour. It's just going to be her second foul, if it is on her. Couple of changes here. For Averett, number 23, Janez Hutchinson back into the game. Olivia Garner also back in. They missed her a little bit when she wasn't in the game because she's been sitting on those 4 fouls. Obviously, Coach Driver didn't want to risk her fouling out a little bit early, but maybe waited just a little bit too long to put her back in. So second free throw is no good. Short, rebounded by Bree Spainhour, but tipped around. And ultimately, Ross will come down with it. As Harris finds Nimmo.
A little bit of pressure now.
Yep. Coach Allison Nichols wanted that timeout called. Looked like Maddie Nimmo was trapped once again and didn't want another 10-second violation, especially up 12. You can have a moment like that. But for the Hornets, I mean, they've done a really good job of just kind of taking the shots where they get them. They're shooting 43% from behind the arc. They've shot the ball 30 times from there and made 13 of them. So anytime you knock down 13 threes, that's always a welcome sight. And keep in mind, they set the record of 15 threes on this home court just a couple weeks ago to start out the new year against Guilford, where they made 15, so only 2 shy of that. And yet, in a game where they scored 82 or 83 points, and when they made 15, you can see they're almost relying on the 3 too much in this game, with having 22 made field goals, 13 of which coming from behind the arc and only 9 coming from inside. So definitely an interesting mix of shots taken from them, but it's working, and they're finding their way to a hopefully to a victory here. Minute 25 remaining, they are up 12 points.
It's still a very promising sight, shooting as many times as they have from 3, because even though not all of them are going to go in a contrast of styles like this, you really need to shoot.
Lynchburg struggles to get the ball in there. Looks like they had Harris, but Spainhour didn't necessarily think that that went with the play. And we'll just stay here again. And for Lynchburg coming down the stretch, obviously a couple of tough games. They're going to head on the road, or I guess they're going to stay here and face off against Mary Washington on January 28th. That is a Saturday. And then they're going to go on the road to face off against the conference-leading Randolph Wildcats. Obviously, we touched on that earlier. Last time Randolph was here, they played so well. And a very close game, I believe. Randolph ended up winning that game by 7. But Randolph, a one-loss team in the conference, set to be maybe the 1 seed for the first time in their program's history. Definitely going to be a tough game on the road. And they're going to need to find a couple of wins down the stretch. Obviously, this one will go a long way for them. Ball went out of bounds there, tipped off of Jones for the Cougars.
And going into the conference tournament, every team very hungry to get wins late in the season. So we've seen a very high level of aggression and intensity here in this one.
Yeah, Lynchburg does just sit a couple games behind that 6th seed. Right now they sit in that 8th spot, which is too clear of the cut line, which is where Averett sits right now. So if you're Averett, what do you think is the mindset going forward? Obviously, you need a couple wins to maybe find your way into the tournament. But what do you think they need to do in future games in order to, I guess, succeed in that area?
Well, it's staying true to your playing style, because late in the season, maybe a little bit of desperation if you look at the record, but you're not going to win games doing things differently. And we've seen this Averett team with size, phenomenal rebounding. You have to be able to lean on your strengths at this point in the season.
Yeah, and they've shown signs of that here today. Obviously, the second quarter they played really well, outscoring the Hornets by 9 points, but not exactly the showing that the Cougars would have wanted coming here on the road. But it's never easy to come into Turner Gymnasium and play well, especially when you're playing against a team who's kind of grown into one of the more competitive teams in the conference. Obviously, you look after this game, they're going to improve to, I believe, 5-7 in the conference. But always a positive to get a win on your home floor, especially against a team who you're almost directly competing with for a spot in the tournament. Prosper's three, no good. She'll get her own rebound as we tick under a minute to go here in this game. And a jump ball favors the Hornets, who are up 14 and can start to feel it.
Averett continuing to press in the last minute of this ball game. I think a key point to Lynchburg's success, especially early, setting the tone and breaking the press, getting some wide open looks.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job of just kind of taking what shots they've gotten. Obviously, a lot of those come from behind the arc, as we're going to start seeing a couple fouls here, that one on Jones. But that does give us a chance to talk about the next game here on Turner Gymnasium and Wayne Proffitt Court. The men's team will take off crosstown rival Randolph College here around 7:30. The men sitting in a bit of a tough spot, but still I guess they're competitive to make the ODAC tournament. A win tonight would go a long way, considering that they are tied with Randolph in the, in the conference standings for that last spot.
Always an exciting matchup against the crosstown rivals. Even higher stakes being close in the ODAC standings.
Especially with the students back, we do expect to see a pretty big crowd. We're going to have the band. It's going to be a tough environment for the crosstown team in Randolph to come in here and play, but we'll see an offensive foul called on the Cougars. Just not much going right for them in the last half of this game.
And the score really doesn't show the story of this one. Averett has hung tough and really, at a point in that second quarter, had control of this ball game.
The score at halftime was 33-31, I believe, in favor of Averett. So Averett only scoring 18 points here in this second half. Not exactly ideal if you're going to win a couple of basketball games down the stretch, but the Hornets have done a really good job of playing defense and just taking the shots that they got. And 6-second shot clock and game clock difference turns down to nothing there as Bree Spainhour steps on the sideline.
With a young team, too, it'll be very interesting to see how Coach Driver responds these next few games as we get closer to the ODAC tournament.
Yeah, and I think it's important because she's also a young coach, only in her second season as a head coach. So, I mean, we talked about how they only have 9 freshmen, or I shouldn't even say only, how they have 9 freshmen. So pretty much their entire team is relying on these freshmen to kind of step up and take a bigger role than maybe what they had in the past. And first year in a new conference, a lot of new things going on for the Cougars, especially in their women's basketball team. So I would not be surprised to see, obviously, this Lynchburg team develop into one of the best in the conference. And the same thing with this Averett team. Obviously, they have a lot of really good young players. You look, freshman Eliza Harris has looked very good tonight for Averett. And then Talia Prosper, number 4, will be back. She is a junior. Taylor Ray, who knocked down a couple of early threes, she finishes, or I shouldn't say she finishes, but she currently has 9 points. She is also a freshman. So you look up and down the list here. No seniors on the squad for Averett.
And if you're a fan of either squad, you have to be very optimistic, especially with 2 teams who have competed this year in ODAC play, being able to grow under 2 young coaches.
Yeah, and especially Lynchburg after starting out, playing a bunch of games in a row on the road. As here's an open 3. Brianna Sams will knock that one down. 7 seconds left. They'll find Maddie Nimmo. And she'll just run out the clock here. So this game will end with a Hornets dub, 67-54. We'll take a look at the stats before we head to a little bit of a break before the second leg of this doubleheader. So Lynchburg wins 67-54. What jumps off the page for you here in terms of Lynchburg finding this victory?
Well, we touched on before the game turnovers that were relatively equal, but Lynchburg's three-point percentage, 13 of 30, the fact that they get 30 three-point shots up, it just shows the confidence for this young squad continuing to trust their shooting, to pass the ball around, and I think if you're Coach Nichols, you have to be proud with the passing and the speed of offense for this Lynchburg squad today.
Yeah, and I completely agree, and we'll take a look at a little bit of an individual stat there. Obviously, you see Brianna Sams knocking down that three-pointer, which got Averett pretty close into this game, but Elisa Harris had 16 for Averett. Taylor Ray had 9, Talia Prosper had 8, and Brianna Sams also had 8 and was perfect from the floor. And on the other side, Macy Mullins with 18, Maddie Nimmo with 16. Once again, I believe tying her career high. She's had 16 about 4 times this year, and then Brooke Kaysen a career high in 15 points. So that'll do it for us on LHSN. Be sure to come back here on our channel for the men's game at 7:30. We'll see you next time here on LHSN.